The other day, I was just talking to my husband, and out of nowhere, very randomly, I found myself saying, I miss who we used to be. Why do we miss who we used to be in a relationship? And when love stops feeling like home? The other day, I was just talking to my husband, and out of nowhere, very randomly, I found myself saying, I miss who we used to be. And I don't know why I said it, it just was so random. The moment those words came out of my mouth, I surprised myself because I wasn't talking about one specific memory. I wasn't talking about a vacation either, or like a special date or a particular season of life. It was just so random. I think what I think is I was talking about a feeling. You know that feeling we feel deep down? A feeling that somewhere along the way quietly disappeared. And it made me wonder, why do so many of us miss who we used to be in a relationship? Not because we stopped loving each other, but because somewhere between work, responsibilities, stress, raising children, paying bills, and simply trying to survive life, something quietly changed without us realizing. And today, I just want us to slow down and talk about this because we rarely talk about it, right? Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Inner Bloom Journey. I just want you guys to know that this isn't a place where you'll find perfect people, okay? It's where ordinary people like me with broken stories discover that they can bloom again. This is your space as well to slow down for a few minutes, to step away from the noise of everyday life and have an honest conversation about relationships, healing, emotional safety, trust, boundaries, and everything in between. So there's no perfect people, no pretending, no judgment, just real conversations about the things many of us carry quietly in our hearts. So whether you're driving home, folding laundry, maybe taking a walk, or simply needing a few minutes to yourself, I'm truly grateful you're here. So thank you so much. And if these conversations make you feel seen, understood, or remind you that people are not walking this journey, that you're not walking this journey alone, I would love for you to subscribe and become part of the Inner Bloom Journey community, please. Thank you. Every week we come together to remind ourselves that healing and healthier relationships are possible. Now let's dive in. Before we begin, I would like to say something important, you guys. This conversation isn't about blaming anyone, okay? It's not about saying that one person loves better than the other. It's not true, right? Every relationship carries a story. Only the people living it truly understand. We can all agree to that, right? So today's conversation is simply an invitation to pause, reflect, and maybe recognize something in your own heart. I don't think we miss the honeymoon phase, you guys, right? Think about it for a second. Can I tell you guys something I've been thinking about lately? I don't actually think people miss the honeymoon phase. I think we miss who we were with each other during that season. Because back then, you couldn't wait to hear each other's voice, right? You noticed each other, not just with your eyes, but with your heart. We laughed over the smallest things like crazy, right? Like being so authentic. You reached for each other's hand without thinking. You made each other feel important. You made each other feel chosen. And maybe that's what so many people are grieving. Not the butterflies, not the excitement, not the fancy dinners, you guys, but that feeling of knowing I matter to this person. Because there's something incredibly painful about sitting beside someone you deeply love and quietly wondering, do they still see me the way they used to? Good question, huh? Sometimes loneliness wears a wedding ring, you guys. Can I say something that might feel a little uncomfortable? Some of the loneliest people I have ever met in my entire life weren't single. They were in committed relationships. Because loneliness isn't always the absence of people. Sometimes it's the absence of feeling understood by the person you hoped would understand you the most. How do you explain feeling invisible while someone is sitting right next or right beside you? How do you explain that? That kind of loneliness doesn't always make noise. Sometimes it quietly settles into everyday life until one day it simply starts become feeling normal, right? Little by little. Somewhere along the way, I wonder if somewhere along the way relationships slowly became more focused on proving who's right instead of protecting what really matters. We become so busy defending ourselves that we stop trying to understand each other. And sometimes the words we hear aren't actually the words our partner is trying to say. It gets misinterpreted very easily. So pay attention to the words, guys. So, example, I'm upset might actually mean I'm overwhelmed. You never listen might really mean I miss feeling important to you. We keep arguing might actually mean I don't know how to reach you anymore. Those are completely different conversations, right? And maybe if we become a little more curious instead of immediately becoming defensive, our conversations would begin to feel safe again. I honestly don't believe most people wake up one morning and decide they don't love each other anymore, right? I think life simply gets louder. Responsibilities become heavier, stress becomes constant, days become busier. And little by little, without anyone intending for it to happen, people stop checking in with each other's hearts, right? Until one day, someone quietly thinks, I don't know if they even notice how much I'm hurting. That sentence stayed with me because I don't think most people are asking for grand gestures, you guys. I think many of us are simply hoping the person we love will notice that we're carrying something heavy. Maybe why some people begin grieving a relationship long before it actually ends. Not because love disappeared overnight, but because the connection slowly became quieter. Maybe relationships haven't become harder because people forgot how to love. Maybe life simply became louder while our hearts became quieter. Maybe what we're really longing for isn't perfection, it's emotional safety. To know that even on our hardest days, we're still seen, heard, still valued, still chosen. Because I don't believe love survives because two people never change. I think love survives when two people keep choosing to rediscover one another again and again. Thank you for trusting me with a few minutes of your day, you guys. I never take your time for granted, okay? Wherever you are in your journey, I hope you leave today feeling a little lighter, a little more understood, and reminded that you don't have to carry everything alone. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, take gentle care of your heart, okay? And remember, beautiful souls, the strongest relationships aren't built by perfect people. They're built by people who never stop making each other feel emotionally safe. I thank you guys for watching. Take great care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay safe, you guys. And always remember, you're whole, resourceful, and complete just the way you are. And please don't let anyone tell you otherwise, okay? Let go, grow, transform, and evolve so we can all become a better version of ourselves. Take care, you guys. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Stay safe. Love you all. Thank you so much.